Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's been quite the week. I hope everybody is doing well. Things here are good. It's just been a heck of a week. When last I met you, uh, let's see. So that was last Sunday. Um, my husband had been having some issues, not feeling great. He finally decided to go to urgent care Monday. Urgent care sent him to the ER. He got admitted. Next day had his gallbladder out, which turned out to be in worse shape than we thought. Spent another day in the hospital and then came home Wednesday night. And so he has been recovering all week. The big problem was, though, that he was in the hospital north of Boston because it was closer to his work. So getting back and forth was a very tiring thing this week. But he's doing better. He's fine. Healing up, a couple little complications, but I think he's on the up and up. And aside from like surgical sites and the fact they had to put a drain in for him, which in theory I think he gets out Tuesday, he's doing better. He should have listened to me and gone to the doctor a week earlier, but So anyway, lesson of the week is if you are having severe pain, especially like up here, please go to the doctor because it might be your gallbladder and you do not want it to go as far south as my husband's did. Lessons this week. But anyway, I am now on vacation for a week and I cannot wait. I need it so badly, not just for stuff with my husband, but just work and everything. So, yeah, my son has this week off, and I am going to be enjoying it with him. Um, Tomorrow is Patriots Day in Massachusetts, which is the beginning of the American Revolution, which actually was today, 250 years ago. But it's always noted on the third Monday of April every single year. And it's also the day of the Boston Marathon. So we're not going anywhere near Boston because it'll be crazy up there tomorrow. But it really is kind of a magical day in Boston if you've never been to New England for Patriots Day and to Massachusetts for Patriots Day. It is a really cool, just like overall community feel for the entire length of the marathon. Everyone's out cheering everybody that's running. And it's not just like the elite athletes. There are so many people running for charities and raising money. It's amazing. So it really is kind of like a 26-mile block party. That really, really cool. I am going to be doing a Stitchy retreat starting Wednesday night into Sunday. And I mentioned that last week. I'd totally forgotten to do the forms and stuff for the Facebook group for that, just with all the craziness going on. So I was like, crap, am I going to be able to participate on this retreat? And I was like, well, it's my own fault. If I can't, I'll make my own retreat. That's fine. But they were awesome. They let me in. I caught up on everything. So I'm good to go. I got my planner together with all of the scheduling this week. So my planner looks like something insane at the end of this week. But yeah. We're watching seasons 3 and 4 of Downton Abbey. So there's like 1 hour long stitching sprints during the episodes with like find a piece with a rose, find a piece with this specific word in it, that kind of stuff. So it gets kind of chaotic, but it's a lot of fun. And we can all kind of hang out in rooms and chat with each other during these things, and you get to watch the episodes again, and it's all at home. So yes, I can dress up, but also I can just hang out in PJs from like Wednesday till Sunday. So, and I did schedule a massage for myself for Tuesday to limber up and get all nice and relaxed. And I'll probably see about scheduling something else later in the week to treat myself as well. There's a couple of good times during the retreat for breaks, so I may go and slip away and do something quickly then too, just for healthiness and relaxation. So, yes. So yes, it's been a busy week. Lots of moving parts. Let's see who's here today. Pearl is here. Hello, hello. Do, 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 do. She was waiting patiently for me before I started. So hang on a second. Let me get to captions. Excuse me. Yes, and also spring decided to spring this week. We got a couple of absolutely glorious days that were like summer temperatures down here, and so the entire world exploded. We're not quite at the pollinating. It's not yellow yet, but all the maple trees went hi, and all opened up. So Pearl said hello, hello, and she will wait patiently. Yes, I was running a little bit late as I was just trying to find stuff around here. Yes, my retreat is in fact this week. It starts Wednesday evening. I may or may not do a pop-up on Wednesday during the day. Not sure yet. We'll see how things are going, but just keep in touch with that. Let's see. I hope your husband's okay. He is. Yeah. It was a rough week. That's actually, Pearl, why I wasn't on your stuff on Tuesday, because I was doing the entire day hanging out in his room with him, trying to work and failing at it miserably, waiting for him to go into surgery. And it was a chore. See, Ashley is here. Hello, hello. Good to see you too. Oh, you were here 4:30 because you didn't want to miss the start. Oh, I appreciate it. Yes. Nope. And I will be here the entire 3 hours or so. Ashley is like, what is the retreat? This one is held by the Black Needle Society. They do a number of retreats during the year. A couple of them are done in person, but quite a few of theirs have been done virtually. So they have 2 virtual retreats this year. They're both sold out. But if you go to the blackneedlesociety.com, you'll see the announcements of their upcoming retreats. They do Downton Abbey, which is held in spring, April-ish. And they're basically doing like 2 seasons for each retreat. And then in summertime, they're doing Frogwarts, although this year is going to be the last one of this one, because we're now on book 7 of Harry Potter. Next year, they're going to do an alumni retreat. And then after that, they'll start something new virtually. And I don't know what it is yet. So keep an eye on their website. And they have a lot of cool announcements of what they're doing. And they do a couple of in-person ones. Camp Black Needle, I think, which I think is held late July, early August down in Missouri, where they're located. But I'm not quite sure. So, and actually, during one of the breaks, I will grab the stuff for the retreat because I got my box for the retreat yesterday. So I will grab that during one of our sprints, and I'll show it off during the next sprint break. And Pearl and Ashley said hello, hello to each other. Yes. So what are folks going to be working on today? I took my class yesterday with my stitching guild with Tudor Rose Sampler Guild yesterday on, let me grab this. It's a reproduction sampler from Wales. And the name is Fanny Johns, and kind of an interesting thing came up during it. So this is the final piece, and they gave it as an option to do it either on black fabric or on light colored fabric. And I decided to be a rebel, and I'm doing it on neither. I decided instead that I am doing it on this linen called Rosewood, which is a really pretty dusty rose pink. Um, and it's all done in soie d'Alger, which is a silk. And that's what I got done during the class because the teacher, Brigitte from the Wishing Thorn, did a show and tell of like a whole ton of antique samplers in her that she has in her inventory at home. They were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Including she had one that was like a great, great cousin somehow removed from J.R.R. Tolkien, and was the name was Maria Tolkien, and it was from the 1700s, and it was ridiculous. It was absolutely stunning. And she did it as a young child, and it was like, I agreed with Brigitte. She was like, it looks like she used floss like a paintbrush, and it was so detailed. It was ridiculous. So did that yesterday. I'm going to do a little bit more on that, I think, just to finish off the strand that I'm on. And then I'm going to go back to Pandemic, which I was working on last week because I haven't touched it since last week with everything that happened this week. So that's where that is. And I'm going to continue working this center thingy. So that's my plans for today. Let's see. Pearl said she was going to have a little nap during the first sprint. Enjoy. It is a good day for napping. It's so dreary here today. It's like rainy and dreary and bleh. So yes, enjoy your nap because I'm almost right behind you, but I'm going to stay awake. All right. Well, let me get us going on our first sprint. Ashley, I know you've been here before, but just in case there's anybody lurking, how this is going to work is I'm going to run us through 3 45-minute sprints, and we'll have a few minutes in between the sprints just to chat, catch up, stretch, go grab yourself a drink, whatever you need to do. Obviously, you're not required to stay the whole time. Come and go as you please, whatever your schedule allows. I have it advertised as a cross-stitch productivity sprint. It is for anything you're doing. If you are reading, writing, knitting, crochet, cleaning your house, whatever you're doing, you're going to be like Pearl, take a nap. It's your time. It's just, keeps everyone accountable to do whatever they need to be doing during this day. So that's how it's going to work. Feel free to chat through the sprints. That's okay. I will be off camera, or I'll be tiny on the screen and working on my stitching. But I will keep an eye on things as we go, and that's kind of it. So let me get us over to our first sprint. I'm going to share this screen. Okay. And we're going to have her knit for a little bit today, just because. Now let's see, we'll do 45, 3 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes between. Good. All right. So I'm going to get us going. Have a lovely first sprint, and I will see you in 45 minutes. All right. Hello, everybody, again. How was that sprint for you? Mine was good. I got that strand done on Fanny John's, which was the one on pink. So it's I'm working the border on that one, and it's just starting to form. Nothing big yet, but there's going to be a flower right here, and it kind of goes around. So this was going to be a slow mover, but that's okay. She'll get done when she gets done. So I started a story of something interesting that happened, and I forgot to finish it last sprint. So yesterday during that class, we were talking about the history of the sampler that the Wishing Thorn has discovered on, and studying it and figuring out who Fanny Johns was and whatnot, and tracked her down to the area around, it's in Wales, and it's near Pembroke. And I'm like, Johns, that name sounds familiar. Johns. And then I realized that it was my biological mother's maiden name. And now I've never met my biological mother. I was adopted at birth, and I only found out who she was and who my biological father were just before COVID, when I did one of those Ancestry.com DNA tests. I've never met either of them in person, but I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I'm like, I wonder where her family's from, because, I've got the Ancestry stuff. And I looked on, and her family is from within like 10 miles in Wales from where Fanny Johns lived. And I understand it's a pretty common name, and especially with the history of Welsh last names, because they did a lot of patronymic type stuff before they started adopting English names. So it was, a lot of like son of John, son of so-and-so, son of Jones, whatnot. So I know it's a common name, but it's just kind of interesting that it's not only is it also Wales, but it's like within a couple of towns. So there might be a relation there. And I'm just going to roll with it and pretend that there is until I find out whether or not there is. It just kind of, a little fascinating thing. So that was the rest of that story that I totally forgot last time before we started the sprint. Let me go back a bit. Okay. So Pearl wished everybody happy sprinting. And then Sue, who's one of my more local stitchers, came in and said hi. And I said hello back to her. And then my friend Chad said hello. He did a pop-up live sprint singing this week on Thursday, which was kind of awesome. And I said hello to him. Ashley said that she read some of a graphic novel that sprint called Gumshoe. We'll probably keep reading and do some coloring in the next sprint. Very nice. Yeah, I was I'm continuing my very relaxing and somewhat predictable Kitchen Witch mysteries. So I am on book 6, which is 6 Stunning Sirens by Lynn Cahoon. Just listening to it on audiobook, library checkout. And it's easy to stitch too, because I can stop and go on that one and still follow along really, really easily. Pearl said, I laid down for a bit. I'm weirdly tired, but not tired. Yep, my husband was going through that earlier today. He tried to take a nap, and he's like, I couldn't sleep. And I'm telling you, something's in with the weather. I'm feeling kind of tired myself, and I'm like, am I going to fall asleep? Am I not going to fall asleep? You may see me pass out on camera. That'll be an interesting one tonight. Ashley's like, I'm so tired, but trying to stay awake. I did not sleep at all last night. go to bed. It's okay. Go get some sleep if you need to. It's okay. You know, I'm actually going to be doing an early night myself, even though it's vacation. I think because I have to get up early tomorrow. My son is getting his braces off. He is so excited, and he said the first thing he wants to do after he gets them off is go and get a caramel apple, which was exactly what I did when I got my braces off. How many umpteen decades ago? So we've got to be there. I think at 8:30, something like that. It's pretty early, so I got to make sure I get up in the morning. Pearl asked if I spoke to them once I found out who they are. I've been in communication with my birth father. Um, we had it was funny. My biological cousin, first cousin, reached out to me going, "Hi, we were a match on Ancestry with." And it's like, but I don't recognize your name, and then a few minutes later she texts me. She's like, "Wait a minute, I know exactly who you are," and she got in contact with my biological father, and then he reached out to me once he told his kids that he has with his current wife because they had no idea that I existed. His wife knew, but his kids didn't know. So he talked to them, and we've been in contact through letters and through Facebook, which is kind of cool. Still have not met in person or like talked on the phone, but COVID kind of did some weirdness to that. So, but we're in loose contact. My biological mother, I think I've not been in any contact with her yet. It's kind of like I'm a little scared too, just because I don't want to invade her privacy. She was 17 when she had me, so it's like I don't want to reach out and be rejected in that way. So I haven't reached out to her, but I have a feeling she knows I exist because I noticed one time on LinkedIn, when LinkedIn used to track who had been looking at your profile, she looked at my profile one time. So I think she was curious who I was, or maybe seeing what I was doing, but didn't reach out either. It's probably funny. We're probably doing the same thing, and like both like not wanting to interrupt each other in privacy and all that, and we both want to. I don't know. Eventually I'll probably reach out to her one way or another, but I just haven't gotten that I haven't gotten over the fear of that yet. We'll put it that way. So Pearl said I watched some of Chad's live the other day. He is the sweetest guy, and that's awesome. Yeah, he's been going through a lot of rough stuff with his wife. She had a major health situation happen last May. It's been almost a year now, and music is probably the one thing that is keeping him sane right now. And he's been doing lives down in his basement, sometimes with friends, sometimes on his own. Our best man from our wedding, Tony, often goes down and sings with him, and Chad will just be there jamming on his guitar. So, and I've spent many a time in that basement playing D&D with him. It's a very cozy place. So I'm glad you watched it, because yeah, he's a really good guy. Pearl, did he know you existed? Yes, he did. He and my biological mom were high school sweethearts who just got themselves into trouble, shall we say, in a Irish Catholic mining town. So it was not exactly approved. But in tradition with the time, I have no idea if they do this now, but because it was a closed adoption, so he knew I existed, but he had no idea where I went, and he wasn't even allowed to see me at my delivery, because that was just the way. I have no idea with open adoptions now if they let you do that at all. I would assume she may have been able to see me very briefly, but I mean, I was in my my parents, who I consider my parents, my adoptive parents' arms. Okay, you can pause. Within like 3 days. So there's pictures of me at 3 days old in my parents' arms. Um, so it was, if I was with her, it was probably very, very briefly for like an hour. I don't think she even had any time with me, but that was the 70s with adoption. You everything like my official record for my birth certificate, my quote unquote original birth certificate, is locked somewhere in the state archives with their names on it. The one that I have has my adoptive parents' names on it. It does not have my biological parents' names on it because, again, I think that's how they do them for any adoption because they're more of a proof of legal guardianship. But mine definitely, because of it being the original being sealed, I've never seen it. At this point, I think I could legally go request it because it's been enough time, but I I really don't have a need to. I just always wanted to figure out where I was from just with names, and that's like that kind of made me happy just knowing that part of it. So, will she see that she has a match on Ancestry? She did not do it. She has not taken the test that I am aware of. Otherwise, she would know that she had a match on Ancestry. Her daughter, my half sister, did take the test, so we're linked, which is why I think that might be how she knows. But the cousin link that I had was actually on my father's side. So I only have the one link through my mother's side, my half sister, who I also have not contacted because, again, other than this, I don't know if she knew that I existed before this. And the genetic tells you that you have like a close relationship, but it doesn't tell you what that specifically is because it could be a couple of different things depending on just how your DNA is. It's like you could be a half sister or like an aunt kind of a thing. I could be like the hidden aunt. There's a few ways that you could have that percentage of DNA. So, but I would have to think that she would put two and two together with like, because my stuff's on there, and if she sees that I'm living and sees my photo and sees that I look like I'm about the same age as she is, we look a little bit similar from the photo I've seen of her, but not like super 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 close. She might put two and two together. We're only like a year and a half apart, so. But yeah, it's a little weird knowing that I've got siblings, half siblings that I've never met out there on both sides of my family. Meanwhile, I grew up just with, my brother, who's also adopted from a totally different set of biological parents. So, but we looked enough alike that people thought that we were siblings growing up, genetic siblings growing up. It's kind of odd. And Pearl said, did your parents know you found them? My dad had passed before I did this. My dad passed 10 years ago. My mother, yes. And my mother actually was thrilled because she knows that this is just part of it, and my brother actually, he also went through this, and he met his biological mom, and my mother went there with my brother to kind of be supportive in case when he came home he needed a little extra, just hugs and whatnot. So my mom is very cool with this. This is part of being, an adoptive parent. You're gonna run into this, and yeah. So let's see. Pearl's like, so she had you, put you up for adoption, less than a year later was pregnant again with the same boy. Nope, different baby daddy. And to my understanding, they got the second guy she got married to. She got out of high school. Having me kind of broke my biological parents up. It's just the stress of it and everything, and that's a lot. for 17, 18-year-olds. It shattered them apart. He graduated. He went off to go into the military, and because I think he might have graduated the year before she did. So he went off to the military, and she found a new guy, and they got married young, and she had kids early. Might be, yeah, she was pregnant with him like a year and a half. We might be almost 2 years apart, but I know she was born the year after me. I'm not quite sure of the date when. I'd have to check Ancestry again. But yep, that's what happened. It's, yeah, small mining towns. You don't have a lot to do sometimes, and you hook up with guys, I guess. Yeah. But hey, as long as the good thing I know is that at least on my dad's, it seems like from what I've seen, kind of being nosy quietly with the two of them, that they both, it wound up being a good thing for everybody involved, because he went off, he's had a great life, seems to have a fantastic family, which is awesome. She went off and looked like she had a successful career and a good life, and I got really, really, as much as, like any child with their parents rolling their eyes and having frustrations with their parents, I got really, really, really lucky with the family that I was involved in. I know there's a ton of horror stories out there for adoptees. And I cannot say that I was one of them. I've always had some weird feelings, and some feelings of feeling different and isolated and alone and all that kind of stuff. And, the weirdness when my son was born, realizing that all of a sudden I had a relative with me that looked like me for a reason, for the first time in my life when I was almost 40. But other than that, this is normal to me. I look at families that look like each other and I'm like, that's weird, because to me, that's just not what I grew up with. So, but yeah, I got very, very fortunate with my parents, even though every once in a while, my dad and I had our butting heads because we were both stubborn as hell. And my mother and I occasionally do as well. That's what happens when you've got a daughter who's a Capricorn, a Taurus as a mother, and a Virgo as a father. You've got all three earth signs battling it out. And we're all stubborn. So, but yeah, good times. But yes, I love my parents deeply. So, and honestly, it was a good thing to be good and complete. So, and yeah, I'll meet them eventually, but that's a story for another day. That may be my next, I might try writing some of the feelings out on Substack. I keep milling about it, and eventually that might become my big public writing project. We'll see. I'm sure, though, with all the people that want to be, oh, adoption's awful and all this, I'm sure I'll get all the hate mail. But in my case, it was not. So it was like, let's see, we're all thinking the same thing. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, 70s Catholic mining town. What are you going to do? My high school best friend was the youngest of 5 adopted children. She met her bio mother and siblings. It was a whole lot of something that's for sure. It got weird when we found the lies. Her bio mother had told her. Yeah. Oh, sorry. 6 adopted children over 10 years. My brother's situation that he came from was a much harder one than mine. A lot harder. And, again, he got very lucky being adopted, but yeah, meeting his biological mom, I think there was a lot more hard emotions there. And since that's his story to tell, I won't go too far into detail with that, but yeah, he had a lot of things he had to learn about that. So, and I'm glad that kept me from looking actually for a long time, because I was really, really worried that it would be kind of the same situation. And I didn't expect anything to come out of that ancestry test. I just wanted to see what my genetics were. And it's like, oh, I'm English and Welsh and Norwegian and all these things that I'd been told from my parents. Is like, is it true? And yeah, it was pretty accurate actually what I got from my parents' brief notes that they were able to get, even though everything was closed. So, yeah. All right. Well, let me get us into our next sprint here. I'm going to flip us over because I apparently have met a new sprite. So let me stop that. Stop. And we will show my window. Let's see who I discovered today. We have... you're cute. Jam into the record player. Ham stereo. Very nice. I could probably get ham stereo out for a while. Sure. We'll leave my kitty out for a little bit. Let's see. We'll have her do something different for a bit. I think I'm going to send her over to the desk. I'm going to have her do some journaling for a while. All right. And Pearl's like, thank you for indulging my curious mind. I'm cool with it because I think those of us who are adopted and do kind of have these, we're not encouraged, especially our generation, don't get to talk about it as much as the younger ones who are in more open adoptions. It was still seen as this shameful thing, even though my parents never treated it that way. They always treated it as a happy thing. But a lot of people I knew who were adopted, it was like, oh, you don't talk about that, and whatever. So yeah, no, I'm happy to talk about it because I think it's one of those things of the human experience that doesn't get talked about all that much. But whether or not I can articulate it is a different thing because it's a lot of swirly stuff in my head a lot of times. So, all right, well, let's get into our next sprint. So another 45 minutes. And I brought the box over here to show about what I got for the retreat, but we will hold that off for the next break. So I'm going to get us going in the sprint, and I will see everybody in 45 minutes. Happy sprinting, everybody. All right, everybody. Hello, hello. I hope you all had a good second sprint there. Let me turn off some random sounds that I have going here. All right. Because I have a little too much going on here. Okay, there we go. So how was that sprint for everybody? Mine was good. I did a quick pop-up to say hello to my son because he got home earlier this afternoon and I realized that I hadn't seen him since he got home because I was out doing some errands when he got home. And he was busy working on his computer doing, what 13-year-olds do. So, yep, this is coming along, just continuing to fill in this spot here. And I'm hoping I'll get a good chunk of this done during that final sprint. And then later tonight, I'll probably continue working on and get those other 2 purple hearts outlined and get those in there. And, maybe by the time the retreat starts this week, I'll have that entire section done. That'll be a nice little thingy and probably get me all of the whip-go stitches I need. So, yay, progress. Let me see where people are. All right, we left off here. Problem reading for a bit, The Burning Library by Jillian Macmillan. Interesting. I haven't heard of that one. And then Cynthia came in and Liz came in and I said hello to both of them. It was good to see them. And then Pearl got a few pages in but got distracted from my hunt for a very specific type of vending machine. And what were you looking for, my dear? I know, when you get on that ooh shiny and I need to go find something specific, I can't focus. It's awful. So I promised that I would show you what came in the box for my Black Needle Society retreat. So if anyone's watching this who hasn't gotten their box, I don't think anyone else, but if anyone's watching this who hasn't gotten their box for Black Needle, skip for a bit and look away and turn the volume down and come back in 10 minutes. Let me pause that here. Come back at 25 past the hour and then we'll be done because I don't want to spoil anybody. Okay, so as I mentioned for Black Needle Society, so every time they do one of these retreats, you get a box that's themed to the retreat, which is kind of cool for them. So this retreat is Downton Abbey. This is the second year of the retreat. They do two seasons per retreat. Last year we did the first 2. Now we're on 3 and 4 and so on. And I assume that we're going to be doing this until, I would assume we're doing it through the movies, but we're at least doing it through the TV show. All right. So first off, in every single retreat box, they always give us the Stitching at Downton 3 and 4. They always give us a nice little card, and it has all the details of everything that's in the box. So the first thing in the box is we have a nice little tote bag, which your little day purse that has a quote from Carson that says, "The business of life is the acquisition of memories. In the end, that's all there is." Very nice little day stitching bag. And the quote on it is Carson's tote bag of memories. What a fantastic quote from Carson. Use this tote bag to organize some of your acquired memories or bring it along with you while making new ones. So we have that. In a lot of their things, it's sorry for the plastic because I I know it's not a sound everybody likes, but they always have them in that. In most of the retreat bags, well, not pretty much every single retreat, there's some sort of a project bag. So this is the project bag this time around, which is awesome because, yes, it does look, in fact, like the sisters. And these bags are very nice. They're zipper bags, and then they have a really nice kind of a satiny lining on the inside of them. The only downside with this style of bag is I have to be really, really careful that my cats don't find it because it is vinyl and they will try to pick at it, as I found with a couple of my bags. But this is like the ideal size because, like, here's a sheet of paper. It fits everything. And in fact, my project is in last year's bag in there. You'll see it tomorrow. Okay. Project bag. Let me find it. The Young Ladies of Downton project bag in honor of Sybil Crawley's final season and Rose McClare's first. We've chosen to celebrate the iconic young women of the Abbey with this project bag, perfect for a Downton project. And if I didn't already have a Downton project in a project bag from Downton, it would go into this one. Okay. Next up is we got a lovely piece of fabric. This is from Bestitch Me, who I have plenty of their fabric. The name of it's a custom color that they dyed for this called Saving the Downton Pigs. 32 count Lugana, which for non-cross stitchers is an even weave as opposed to a linen. So you stitch on it. It's very similar to stitching on Ado, where every single square is perfectly even. It's a blend between like cotton and I forget which one Lugana specifically is, but it's like a blend between a cotton and a rayon or something similar to that. And this is the color. It's coming. Oop, come on, focus. There we go. It's coming off a little bit colder on screen than it is. It's really almost like a kind of that color that like hot chocolate is when you stir it into milk. It's a really nice kind of warm creamy brown. So we got a eighth of a yard cut there. With if Downton is to be self-sufficient, it can't falter when the livestock delivery first arrives. Muck in with Lady Mary and Charles Blake to save the Downton pigs. Warning, you may get as muddy as this piece of fabric. Yes. Okay, next up, we have a headband with all the hats on it, so you can wear all of the hats at one time. And that is, in fact, what it says, the Downton appropriate headband. You can't arrive at Downton with inappropriate headwear. This headband includes a selection of hats to try on all at once. It's perfect for keeping the hair out of your eyes while you stitch. This is a rarity for me to have my hair down. When I stitch, I usually do have it back up in a ponytail because I have, in fact, stitched my hair into my cross stitch before. I just was kind of lazy today, but I might put that on in a moment. Okay, next we have a candle, to which when my husband saw this, he went, no more candles, because I have plenty of candles. The name of this is Violet Crawley's Bottle of Scent. Bergamot, rose, violet, leather, and vetiver. It's a soy wax candle. And the rose is what I smell. It smells really, really nice. Trying to find. Oh, can you believe Violet's bottle of scent cost Edith a guinea? Take a sniff of the Dowager's chosen scent for yourself by burning this candle while you stitch, which I probably will during the retreat. Next, we have a group of floss cards, and I do use these. I used to put all my stuff and wind them on bobbins, but in recent years, especially as I've been getting into silks and those kind of things, I've greatly appreciated these cards. Oop. Hey, you can pause. Pause. Okay. And they're basically just business cards with a hole for, you know, a ring to hold them all together. And then your floss goes through here. I could show you that tomorrow. This one has all of the different characters, which is cool. So there's a huge selection of them. That'll be really, really nice. If I don't have my stuff on this project on floss cards, I'll make sure to put them on there by Wednesday. Let's see, where are these? The Faces of Downton thread card set. This set includes 16 beloved Downton characters. Use these cards to keep your threads organized for your next project. And basically, you just write down on the back side what they are. Side note, there were a large group of us who traded these type of cards on FlossTube a few years ago, and it was a lot of fun. I got in on it kind of late, but I would love to do that again because A, I still have a bunch of mine, and B, I just love trading things with people. But let me grab mine. I'll show you. You get them from Vistaprint, and you basically just get business cards, and you get custom ones with whatever you want on them. So I have a piece that I did years ago that I just put on the front, and then on the back, I just have this, and you can just punch them for people or send them like this, and then they can punch them if they would prefer to do it that way. And you send them, you know, like 5 or 10, whatever they would like, and you get to trade them with people, and it makes it kind of fun. So I should propose that again. It would be a lot of fun to do these with folks. And just, you know, it's like a collective thing. All right. Anyway, back to this. Got the floss cards. We then have custom floss. This is from Color and Cotton. And we got 4 custom hand-dyed colors. We have a beautiful red. These are all cotton, by the way. Lady Rose Presented to Society, a beautiful red. We have the Heir of Downton Dyes, which is kind of a grayish color. We have Earl's Daughter to Wed, which is a very pretty, like, wedding blush pink with a very strong set of white going into it. And then we have Irish Rebels Burn Drumgool Castle, which is a very pretty orangey yellow. So those 4. Those don't actually go for this specific project. It's just for you to have some fun stuff. We have an iron-on that I've got to figure out what I will iron it onto. This one might actually go onto a t-shirt, though, because it's just perfect. She runs on indignation. that might have to go on a t-shirt. If you're feeling as indignant as Isabel, show off this design by ironing it onto a project bag, tote bag, t-shirt, or any other fabric surface layer item on it, and it tells you how to do them. But yeah, that might have to go on a t-shirt because that's very me. We have a needle minder, which for those of you not in the cross-stitch world, needle minders are basically some sort of a button that is glued to a magnet. A lot of people will use like broken brooches and or broken pins. That's like the best way to do them. And then you just glue those earth magnets, the super, super strong ones, onto the back. And I don't think I have it actually on my current project. So, but this one is a Free Baits, and this is what it looks like on the back with the magnet. And I have a bunch of them sitting all over my room. But yeah, so you basically put on one side of the paper, your fabric and the other, and then your needle will stick to it because it's magnetic. Fantastic to use in cross stitch all over the place. Might not be depending on what you're using for crochet or knitting, because if you're using metal ones, that's going to stick right to it. But while it's in the bag, if you want to make sure that, like everything stays together, it might work. Next is a little chart. You can always hold my hand if you need to feel steady. Very cute. And of course, that's Mr. Carson and his soon-to-be wife. Okay. And then finally, we have part 2 of the retreat project. So last year, we're basically over the course of all of these retreats, we're adding on to the same sampler. It happens to be a sampler here. They're not always samplers. This one, though, is a sampler, and of all things, it's in Rhode Island style, I learned, which is kind of fun for me, since this is the only Rhode Island style sampler I've done. So last year, this is called I Am a Custodian, and of course it's sideways. So last year, we got everything here. We got the house and all the words here with the bell. This year, it's expanding out with the car and everything here, and this border out, and the dinner party. Oh, sorry, I'm leaning it the wrong way. So we're expanding it to everything outside of this inner house border. I do not have the house done, although I got quite a bit of it done last year. So I will just kind of be continuing where I'm at. But that is what we have so far. And then, of course, next year, more of it will get filled in. And then by the time we're done with all the retreats, it'll all be filled in and it'll be a full sampler. But that is the sampler pattern. So yeah, it was a really cool box. Oh, I went a little bit over. I'm sorry. Hopefully no one was on here that was going to be spoiled too bad. Okay. So let me put this stuff all back in the box. All right. So with that, before we get into the last 45, I do want to let you know the plan over the next week on my schedule. I am going to be doing a long sprint. I'm doing a live stream tomorrow to do a whip parade. I'm going to start at 2 o'clock and really go until I'm sick of doing it. It's going to be a long one. I will probably run some sprints in the middle of that as to take a break and whatnot at time to time, and also to, put stuff away and then bring out another batch. I am doing this partially because I've been wanting to do whip parade, partially because I need to pack things up for moving. So I figure this is a great way for me to pack, but also to itemize what I have going so I know where it is. So there's kind of a method to this madness. Once I'm done with the live streams, I will probably re-edit them and turn them into floss tubes as well. Obviously, they'll stay as a live, but yeah, I'll cut them down. But I'm also planning on running a few sprints here and there, probably 30-minute sprints, just so people can have the productivity and whatnot. And then I will not be doing a live stream next Sunday because I will still be involved with the retreat. So because that doesn't end until probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock next Sunday. So no live stream for me next Sunday, but then the following week I will be back on schedule. So that is the plan. Let's see. All right, let me go back to things. It's a sticker vending machine, but they aren't made or sold in Canada, so I'm looking at AliExpress. Gotcha. But the machine can also hold tattoos, tarot cards, etc., etc. And I make stickers, so I can do themed batches depending on the location of the event. Oh, that's fun. That sounds like a fun way to keep the magic going. Yes. And Liz is asking, did you get a bid on the house? On our house? No, we're not. We don't have ours up on the market yet. We're still waiting for our real estate agent came by last week to do the tour through to be able to run the comps on it, and they were still kind of, I guess, Eric and I have been joking that our house is a unique investment opportunity because they're having a little trouble finding comps for our house. That leads me to believe that we're probably selling it more for the land than the house. But we shall see. So we're not there yet. And other stuff happened this week, Liz. You can go back to the very beginning if you want to hear the whole story. But this week was fun in all the ways that it wasn't. So the house kind of took a huge back burner on completely this week, starting on Monday and like running all week. We haven't done a thing on the house. Yeah. No. Yes. How is he feeling? He's doing much better. Thank you. I jokingly am saying that I'm letting him heal up so I can kill him. But that's not really going to happen. And I'm sure that's about to get me booted off of YouTube. No, he's good. I'm very thankful he went in when he did because things were going to get really, really bad very quickly had he not gone in. Because, yeah, he hadn't gone into sepsis yet, but he was heading that direction. We'll put it that way. But he's good. He's home. He goes to see his surgeon on Tuesday to get the drain taken out and just make sure everything's going good. But other than feeling tired, which you would expect, he's doing okay. So I'm glad that we got through it, and I'm glad that he's on the mend. But yeah, next time he's going to listen to me if I tell him to go to the doctor. Because yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's where we are, but he's doing fine now. He got very lucky. But yes, in typical wife fashion, I'm like, you better heal up soon so I can wring his neck. Lovingly, of course, because I do love my husband dearly. Oh, all right. And yes, good to hear. Yes, very much so. I was very relieved when we came home from the hospital on Wednesday evening. And if people who know the tea, I will regale people at some point on the absolute ridiculousness it was for me to get up to the hospital where he was, because he went to a hospital closer by work, which is north of Boston, and his car was there. So I am very glad that I am very comfortable with public transportation. We'll put it that way, because I did the most ridiculous way to get up to him, and it somehow worked. So, and my car was down here. So anyway, all right, let's get into our final sprint. I am going to switch us to another location here. Oop. There we go. Put me back on the screen. Where do we want to go? It's getting to that time. Maybe we'll do some cooking. Okay. We'll ever do some cooking for this sprint, because I haven't done much in the kitchen. All right. And yes, Pearl, all's well that ends well. That's right. He is still here with me, and I love him dearly. Okay, all. Last sprint, and I will see you in 45. And as Pearl has said, happy sprinting. See you soon. All right, everybody. So that was our last sprint. Um, we're not going to do the wrap up sprint tonight because my husband has just finished cooking dinner and I'm starving. So we're going to head on off for tonight. But I did provide some links in the chat to folks that both for Pearl and also for some other folks who have either popped on here or are streaming. If you need streams tonight to continue working, there are a bunch of people actually streaming because there's a retreat, a virtual writing retreat going on tonight. So I'm just looking here. Oh, they might have actually wrapped up mostly. But yeah, if you type in sprints and such, live sprints and stuff, you'll be able to find folks. But Coda is definitely sprinting this evening. He does long reading sprints between very long chats, which can get quite lively and fun. But so he is going right now, and Books and Jams is going right now. Is the other one I see that's active right now. Let me put her in the chat. Hang on a sec. Okay. So Books and Jams is also going right now, and she's in the middle of the sprint. If you need some more tonight. And so I will see everybody tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time for my big whip and packing extravaganza. So have a great night. I'll see some of you tomorrow. And if not, I'll see you next time we sprint. Until then, have a good night, everybody. Take care.